Today on the Warmlite show, we have Mare Soleil-Blais, and this is just a quick introduction to reintroduce her and to remind you that all of the links that we talk about for being able to follow her will be in the description box, either on this episode if you're listening on a Spotify or some sort of podcast platform. All of the links will be in the description box, or if you're watching here on YouTube, they'll also be in the description box down below so that you can track her progress over the next couple of weeks while she's doing the race, or if you're coming in afterwards and you want to see the results of her race and see how it went. We're hoping to do some sort of follow-up interview afterwards to hear about how it went and just kind of her general experience with doing this, for the first time, like fully complete, like racing, doing the race part. She's done the route before, but she hasn't done the race before, so this is the first time doing the race part. So all of that will be in the description box for where to follow her social media, her YouTube, and her website, because I do mention her blog, which she has a fantastic blog going over what she needed to get ready for the race as well. So all of that will be down below, so you can click on that. And also there's some random times where it cuts out. That's because my internet was being weird on my end. No matter what I did, I could not get the internet to stay fully connected on my laptop. Technology is great, isn't it? So at random moments when it kind of goes quiet or it seems like it's jumpy, it's just because the internet and Zoom weren't cooperating with me. But you can still hear and understand most everything that's going on. There's just a few moments where it kind of disconnects. So I just wanted to warn you, if it seems kind of jumpy, that's why, but stick through it. It's still really good. There's so much to learn and gain from this fantastic interview and from this fantastic athlete and cyclist. Today, I'd like to welcome Mare Soleil-Blais as an athlete and former professional cyclist. She's been on the Canadian national cycling team and has competed twice on the World Championships in road cycling. She's now 2 days away from her first Tour Divide bike packing race to test her skills, endurance, and to try something just completely new. Mare, thank you so much for being here, and we're very excited that you made time to talk to us just 2 days before the start of the Tour Divide race.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, for giving me the opportunity to share my story and hopefully inspire some people.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you just want to give us a quick introduction of who you are and how you got into cycling professionally.
Um, yeah, so I'm from Canada. I actually grew up in hockey before getting into cycling. So cycling only came in my life later. It only came in my life later as a sport, but I always loved riding my bike since a very young age. I was collecting maps. I loved to ride to new places. I wanted to go far, and my first like childhood dream was to ride across the country. So it's not like surprising that I'm doing this big race today. But so after I stopped hockey after university level, and then started racing and moving up the rank to the end of the road and in pro cycling on the road. And I think I needed a new challenge, and I came across this documentary about the Tour Divide during the pandemic, and that's when I got the little spark of curiosity of wanting to try something new. And so I tried bikepacking for the first time during the pandemic, and I was just hooked. It was just the opportunity to challenge myself, to see places, to ride my bike, and it was just so simple. You don't need a pro contract. You don't need to be at a certain level. Like bikepacking is something available to anybody. You just grab a bike and you go out there, and then you can like push yourself and experience these amazing things and seeing an amazing landscape. And I don't need to be part of a part of a pro team or anything. So I just love the simplicity of it. And so the Tour Divide, if I speak a little bit about the race, so the Tour Divide is a race that follows the route of the Great Divide mountain bike route, which follows the Continental Divide. So we start in Banff, Alberta, and we ride the course all the way south to the border of Mexico. So until Antelope Wells in New Mexico. So that's 2,700 miles. it's mostly off-road, so dirt roads or unmaintained road, forest road, trails. So it's very remote. The landscape is absolutely beautiful. Weather is challenging. It's pretty high altitude, a lot of mountain passes. Yeah, and so it's like the biggest race. So we all starts in Banff, and it's the first one to get to Mexico.
That's awesome. And you've tried this before. You went through the route one time just to test it out, make sure you liked it, or
Yeah, yeah. So because I raced in road cycling. Road cycling, we're on the paved road, obviously. So the skill level is very, very different. And I sleep in a bed. I need to eat the right food. And so when I saw the documentary about the Tour Divide, I didn't know that I was capable of doing it. I was really excited about the challenge, but before racing it, you still like there was some risk, some things that I had to learn before. So last year the opportunity came. I had a year that I had because it can be expensive. And so I just set out to ride for like 2 weeks along the course, and I just loved it so much that I ended up riding the full length of the course. It took me 28 days, and it was really hard, but it was feasible. So then I said, all right, I'm gonna optimize my gear. I need to make a few changes, especially on my sleep system because I got really cold. And yeah, and then I decided to commit to racing this year and make it like the my race goal for the year, like my challenge of what I want to improve this year is the ability to endure, to go a little further, and the pushing limits, just to expand the my comfort zone of what I'm capable of doing.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's really exciting to find that, like, it cycling isn't just one area. It's not just road cycling. There's so many different types of cycling that you can do and expand into it and continue to just try something different.
Yeah, cycling is so versatile. It can be transportation, it can be a way to exercise, um, it could be a way of traveling, it could be a sport. It's so much, and it can be everything. Like I use it for so many ways. Yeah, and so bikepacking is just a new way for me to use cycling.
That's awesome. And you're really excited too to be pushing this boundaries also as a woman too, to be going out there and being, kind of in the minority out there among the racers.
Yeah, there's definitely not a lot of women doing this, and the documentary that really sparked the curiosity for me was it was featuring a woman, and I think if I had seen a man doing that, I don't think it would have sparked the same curiosity of like, because then I was able to tell myself, hey, maybe I could do this. So I think it's really important that we see more women doing it because it does give an example of what's possible. It just helps to open our eyes because a lot of women are scared to go out there. So, like, I'm not the only one. There are others, but it's definitely a minority. So that's why I wanted to. So I'm bringing a GoPro, and I will be self-documenting the race because I want to be able to share it to show to other women that it's possible. You can go out there. You don't need to be professional. This is my first bike race, my first bikepacking race. I had never camped before. There's a lot of things, and I think a lot of women lack this confidence of like you can do it. You can learn. You can uh, do the steps to of what it takes to get there. It's possible.
That's awesome. There's a lot of firsts for you in there to be putting all on one, but I think that just makes it that much more not just a challenge, but it'll make you feel that much more confident and just like, I don't know, credible in yourself of like, look at all these things that I accomplished when, no matter how no matter how the race ends.
Yeah, yeah, and I came to realize during my first bikepacking trip, I was so proud of myself. I was so incredibly proud of myself because it was really scary. And like no matter what is your fear, overcoming hardship, like it doesn't matter where you start, just getting better, just overcoming your fear, pushing your boundaries. This is the most satisfying thing ever. I think it's more satisfying than winning a bike race that you expect to win, for example. So it's like
Mm.
you really don't need to be a pro to experience the the extreme satisfaction of overcoming your own fear. It could be like just doing an overnight, just doing a little thing. If for you it's a big deal, then this is what is going to feel like the most amazing to accomplish. And so then I was like, I was so proud of myself during that trip. I was like, I don't need to make it to the Olympics. Like, what I just need is to push my boundaries. That's how I get the most, like, that's how I get to feel the most powerful emotion.
Hmm.
It's like really simple.
Yep, I completely agree. That's really awesome. That's very
Yeah.
exciting. Makes me even more excited to just like watch it because, like you said, there are so many, like there's not that many women that are competing. And so I don't know, it's a smaller pool of really,
Yeah.
really brave and intelligent women that are like out there pushing this boundary, going, no, we can do this too. Like, we
Yeah.
can be out here, we can be doing this.
Yeah. And actually the record holder of the course will be racing. So I will
Oh,
have some
wow.
competition on the women's side. I
Nice.
definitely have some competition. There are some fast women out there.
what
Yeah.
what is the fastest that a woman has done it?
15 days.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I've done it in 28 days last year. So that's like twice. So but it's really cool because uh right now it seems impossible.
Hmm.
Um so there's just like the opportunity. My expectations, well, not that are my expectations are low, but um I think there's just this window of possibility when when you're new at something. Like I don't even know how far I can push myself, and that's why I wanted to do it in the race. I wanted to see if I was in a race, how much more would I be able to push myself. And because last year I kind of done it by myself. um
Right.
but I'm really excited because I have no idea. There's no pressure. It's just going out there and doing the best that I can, and I can only surpass myself. Like there's no failure possible. I can only do the best that I can,
Hmm.
and and that's it. So I don't need to beat a certain time, or I just need to do the best I can to feel really proud of myself.
Exactly. And yeah, you have no idea. Like you might get out there and go way faster than you think you ever thought possible. Be like, wow, I never imagined I could beat these kinds of times for even just for yourself against yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and or I might just go too fast in the first 2 days, and then crack and be like, ooh, I have to. And it's about like learning
Right.
how to deal with that when this happens. And even if, no matter what, I know that I'm gonna hit that limit, and I'm gonna be forced to deal with it, and that's how you grow, you expand your comfort zone. So I know that no matter where that limit is, I know that it's gonna be a little further than what it is right now. You know.
Hmm. Yep. Well, another thing too that makes a huge difference is the gear. Because I know last year you were kind of just using whatever you kind of had, versus this year you've been very, specific about what kind of gear you're using, picking like the best systems for like day riding, night riding, sleep systems, like all these kinds of things. What kind of things have you really made a difference in, like what is it, that you've kind of changed up?
Yeah, so last year, like I didn't know, so I kind of went exactly with what I had, didn't want to invest too much. And one night, I ended up waking up shivering in sweat, and I was just like, this is, every night was uh, a nightmare. I would get so cold. So yeah, I did went through every piece of gear, and what's difficult is that it needs to be extremely light because we have to carry the weight. It needs to be extremely compact because the room on the bike is very small. It needs to be fast transition because it's a race. So I don't want to set up camp, waste too much time drying my stuff. Where because the idea is I'm going to pedal until I am tired. So when it's 2 in the morning, I'm extremely tired. I don't want to look for a tree where I can, no, I just need to be able to camp wherever. So this puts a lot of limitation into the sleep system. So then um, I I I was looking at the vapor barrier bag, but then what I struggle with that is that it's really hard to get out of there because then you need to kind of change to like undress. And I was like, it's going to be impossible to get out at 4 in the morning from that bag. So then I came up with I did a lot of research of about condensation and how to not get everything wet. And what came up was vapor barrier. And then okay, vapor barrier bags and then vapor barrier clothing. That made a lot of sense. If I wear this as my first layer, I can have more layers on top of it. And this way it's much easier to get out of the bag, and this way I don't get everything wet. And so that's how I came across Warmlite, and then I reached out and I gave it a try. And it is like, so I've got the jersey, the zip up
Mm-hmm.
long sleeve vapor barrier jersey. So because of space and of weight, I I ended up choosing the jersey and the socks because they were the most critical part. Um, and yeah, it's immediately warm. It's incredible. And then my stuff, there is still some condensation because I'm still breathing inside my bivy, and there's just still some heat loss from my pants, or like it's not a bulletproof vapor barrier, maybe like a bag, but it makes a big difference. And as soon as I wear it, it's immediately warm. And even the other day, I got caught in the rain, and 10 p.m. my feet are frozen. I can't even feel my toes. My toes
Oh.
were numb, and got to set up camp. I mean, my feet freeze so easily. This is something
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to, but I hate the pain in my feet. So then I set up camp, and I was just going to put my dry socks. So I was carrying 3 pair, and I had two that are already wet. I had one last pair of dry socks. Normally I would put that for sleeping. And I was like, well, what if might also become wet? So then tomorrow I'm not gonna have any dry socks anyway. Put the vapor barrier socks, and 5 minutes later I could feel my toes. And I was wearing like, this was with my wet socks. Like,
Yeah.
how can it get just warmer? And yeah, it just works. And so then I didn't have to so I still have my dry socks to wear for tomorrow morning. And I just love how easier it is to get out of the bivy, not having to, because normally if I put my dry socks and then I want to go pee, then it's like really difficult to get out of the bivy and have my feet in the air while putting plastic bags over it, and then putting my wet shoes, and then doing this in reverse to go back to sleep. now with the
Right.
vapor barrier socks, it's like robust enough that I can walk without risking, like the plastic bag. I don't want to walk because I don't want them to break like with a little rock. But these vapor barrier socks, like it just so robust that I can just walk out of the bivy, pee, and then come back in my sleeping bag without worrying about shoes, plastic bags, friggin', or having to worry about getting my socks wet. And
Right.
so just that is like, I save so much energy, just that. And then in the morning, so now I'm having vapor barrier, and then my down jacket. And for bottom, I'll have my cycling short, down pants, and then I have my quilt and the bivy. So when I get out, I'm still wearing my down jacket, which isn't all soaked because I'm wearing the vapor barrier jersey, and with the down pants, which is also an addition. So I have a lighter quilt and the down pants kind of mixed together rather than a bigger sleeping bag. So it's so then I can get up and I'm not as cold because I'm still wearing like this puffy, and then I can start pedaling and getting warmer. And like when the sun comes up, like my down pants, like they can dry. I'll leave it on my handlebar, and in 5-10 minutes they're dry. So then when I stop, all I have to dry is my quilt, but it's much lighter than the big bulky sleeping bag. So then this will dry in like 10-15 minutes. So the whole thing is much faster. It's just more efficient. This year.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was something I really liked when I was reading, because you have a blog kind of talking about this too.
Yeah.
And I was just like so fascinated with your sleeping system, about like making your clothes warm, and the bivy just kind of something to sleep in, just out of the weather for the most
I mean,
part.
it's a weatherproof. Like if it rains,
Right.
like and it zips like animals, little thing. It's just like I think it's good to have that zip to just shut down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Close from everything, but then you don't want all your warmth to be inside the bag, because then it's impossible to get out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the number one thing that I always have. Yeah, whenever I'm just camping in general, and you get up in the morning like, I don't want to get out of the bag. It's so warm.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so yeah, it's so much better to, I was like, that's such a brilliant plan, a brilliant sleeping plan.
There was a lot of thought into this. Because last year, like as much as I enjoyed it, this was number one obstacle. It's like I was freezing at night. I was shivering. I hated when the sun goes down. I'm like, oh my God, another night. And then getting out. This whole process, I was like, if I'm going to do this again, I need to fix it. And yeah, I think it's pretty dialed.
That's awesome. That's really exciting. Yeah. So how do you feel? I mean, the race is in 2 days. How do you feel about this?
I I'm definitely more nervous than I anticipated. Um, I think there's a lot of anticipation of, I mean, just before anything hard, like I know it's going to be really hard. I know it's gonna be painful, but I want to push through. But it hasn't started yet, so it's like until I'm there, you just wait until the pain comes. And so yeah, there's a nervous. I hope. I don't know what the weather is going to be like. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice today. So I just got in Banff, but there's a lot of rain in the forecast. I just hope that. I mean, it doesn't matter. I hope that the trails are going to be in good condition enough to ride, because it could be, if we get stuck in the mud and then not necessarily weather. Like I'm ready for the rain, like in terms of cold, but I just hope that the trail is like we can pedal and move at a good pace, and that the experience is going to be more fun if it's more rideable. But I guess that's part of That's part of it. That's part of the hardship, and it's the same condition for everybody. There's over 250 so there is a live tracking available, so people can follow. They call it dot watcher. So we're gonna have like this big map with everybody has their little dot, and we're kind of moving on the map. So it's on trackleaders.com. There you'll see the Tour Divide race, so then you can follow the race there. Yeah, definitely nervous, excited. I want to see, like, I just got in Banff and there's all these mountains, and like I just want to go out there and ride the course and see these landscape again.
Yeah, that is the nice thing too, is that by going down, you know, doing this kind of race, you have some really beautiful scenery that you get to take in and just be in such a beautiful space in nature, you know, seeing places that a lot of people will never see.
Yeah, it is so cool. And this route, even though it's off-road, it is so accessible. A lot of people will come with touring setup with like 100 pounds bike. You don't have to be like ultralight, or you don't have to make it miserable. Like a lot of people come from everywhere in the world, and they can do like 50 kilometers, or like, I don't know, 30, 40 miles a day. And there's a lot of campgrounds along the route. Some people do it in 3 months, and the landscape is the most beautiful route. And it's actually known as one of the most beautiful, most scenic off-road route in the world. Yeah, there's people from New Zealand, from like everywhere, that come to see it. So if you have like a week or two, then you can pick a segment. Some people, they do like one state of the route each year, like a little bit of the times. There's many ways. It's from Banff, the section in Canada is amazing. Montana is beautiful. Wyoming, it's out of this world. Colorado, we get really high. Yeah, and then New Mexico, more like desert. It keeps changing. It's the most beautiful thing ever.
That's awesome. That's so exciting. At least, you have, you know, some nervousness, but something to really be looking forward to. Not just the race, but like the scenery and stuff too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the race with the background.
That's right.
You're racing in this like amazing surrounding. So then you can, if things don't go as well as you want, like you still get to experience it. Even if
that's true.
I fall down behind, if a mechanical happens, if anything happens, you still get to experience being out there. And no matter what's I am in the race, and no matter how far I'm able to push myself, it's going to feel rewarding, just because climbing mountain is rewarding. Always.
Exactly. Yep. Well, we're getting close to the end. Where would people, you know, it was best to follow you for the race, but then afterwards to kind of see like how did it go, and social media, like all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. During the race, I'm gonna be posting some updates on Instagram. So Instagram is probably the best way. So it's at Mare Soleil-Blais 74. So MSOLEILBLAIS 74. And I will have somebody posting some updates for me as well on social media, as I want to focus more on the race. And then after the race, I'll be putting together a little documentary of my race that's going to be on my YouTube channel, Mare Soleil-Blais as well. And to follow the race, it's on trackleaders.com/Tour Divide 2023, I believe, or just if you go to trackleaders.com, you'll find the link to get to the Tour Divide race. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
And I'll make sure to put links down in the description boxes because this is going to be on Spotify and for the YouTube or for the podcast, and then also it'll be on our YouTube channel. So I'll make sure to put the links in the box so that people can click and follow you and see how you're going.
Yeah, I expect it to be around 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a little more. maybe a little less. I don't know. It's a,
Right.
I'm going there like full blind. I have no idea what to expect. We'll see.
That's awesome. Well, I'm really excited.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks
Well,
for having me on this call, and I hope somebody heard this and will start planning their trip to ride the Great Divide mountain bike
that's
route.
right. Maybe they'll be racing against you next year. Like you'll meet them on the trail and be like, "Hey,
Maybe.
you inspired me to be here."
Yeah. Yeah, definitely reach out if you have some questions. If you want to try this route or try bikepacking, definitely available to help out, especially women. Like, feel free to
Yeah.
reach out. I'll be happy to help.
Because you do like training. You have like like bicycle training and stuff.
Yeah, so I started doing that last year. I started doing indoor cycling class. It's very different than bikepacking. Obviously, it's indoor. There's no
Right.
rain or cold. But I mean, because that's what we do in Canada when the winter gets really bad. I love these 1 hour workout. I've always trained as a professional athlete. Like, my background is, so I started guiding indoor cycling class on YouTube for women, just as a way to share my passion for cycling and to help more women try cycling. And it was amazing how a lot of women like told me that it was so rewarding. Like, pushing yourself doesn't matter if it's outdoor or indoor, like just pedaling your bike and pushing through your boundaries. It is rewarding, it is empowering, and women like definitely improved their confidence. They were like, I didn't know I was capable of doing it. I was like, yeah, you just need to try and go and do it, and then next thing you know, wow, I did it. And so I loved posting these indoor cycling class on YouTube. So if you follow me on YouTube, I'll start doing them again in the fall when the weather starts to be cold again. And yeah, a lot of fun over
That's
there. You just
awesome.
need a stationary bike, and then you can follow along.
That's awesome. That's really exciting. Well, thank you so much. It's been really great talking to you, and good luck on
Thank
your
you.
race.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.